Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast. And now here's the guy who's the master manipulator, Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Big Brother 16 finale coverage. Yeah, don't adjust your sets. I'm here, and we are live, and we have a great show to talk about, to put a bow on Big Brother 16 and our podcast coverage from all season long. First, let's introduce you to the panel. Here's a man who has done a fantastic job for us over the last couple of years, and a man who has more send-offs than Derrick Jeter now. Here's Mr. Brian Lynch.
Woo! One last ride. Let's throw this thing off the rails, Rob.
Whoa! Oh my God! One more ride with Brian Lynch. One that we didn't think we were going to get. Of course, here is the winner of Big Brother 14, a man who was almost as dominant as Derrick. Here he is, Ian Terry.
If by almost you mean 1/200th as much, then I agree.
Ian, I feel like we have a very similar shirt on. We're like on the same page.
Yes, I was supposed to wear a pink shirt and tie today, but my iron spit on it and left a nasty watermark. So I had to go with this green stripy one.
Why were you wearing a pink shirt? To show your support for Frankie Grande?
No, I just I had a tie that matched this pink shirt really well, and I wanted to wear that one. But plans fell through, Rob.
Oh, I know how that goes. Plans fall through, Ian. Anyway, so real quick, I know a lot of people are saying, wait, hold on, Rob. I thought you were going to the backyard. You were going to go do interviews for entertainment tonight. I got word early on in the week that ET did not have time to cover Big Brother 16 on their show tomorrow. So I was supposed to sit down with the winner and do an interview for them, and ultimately that segment got cut. So they didn't end up sending me to the backyard. But the good news is I get to spend tonight here with you. I'm very excited to talk about the finale because I think we have a lot to digest and talk about. We want to take your questions as well. So make sure you get them in all night long. We've got the chat room going. We've got our hashtag RHAP. Of course, Scott St. Pierre is monitoring that. I see we have over 1,300 people watching already live, and I think that number is going to only increase as we go along. And then, of course, also you can send in your comments on our YouTube channel at robhasawebsite.com/YouTube. We are dangerously close to 20,000 subscribers on the Rob Cesternino YouTube channel. So I'm very excited about that, and thanks for everybody who's helped to support the show all season long. We got some news stuff to get through here first before we jump into tonight's show. All right, Ian, let's start with our top story at this hour. Big Brother renewed for 2 more seasons. How about that?
I know. I was pumped to see it. I always wonder, will I play either one of them?
Well, Julie Chen did an interview today. I believe it was with Dalton Ross, and they asked her about will there be any more All-Star seasons. She's like, are you kidding me? Look at the ratings this season. We had new people, and the ratings were great. I don't think you will be seeing All-Stars anytime soon.
Huh. Well,
that being said, I'm pretty sure Julie Chen is the last person to know of what the format of the season is going to be. I think she shows up on the first day, and it's like, oh, it's All-Stars? Oh, okay, cool.
I mean, I don't know. Are ratings really that much higher than normal? I was under the impression that they're pretty much consistent. I don't know about higher.
But compared to Utopia's ratings, Big Brother is the biggest hit on television.
Okay, true.
So look at it through that filter. Okay.
I feel like the numbers are higher too.
You know, I think that that even if the numbers for Big Brother are holding, the numbers for everything else on TV keep going down. So Survivor and Big Brother, as long as they just keep holding their own, I think that the networks are very happy.
I agree.
Even if the Grande effect only gives them like 1 million extra viewers an episode, that's like 1 million extra people being exposed to the show. And we know that people get exposed to the show, they enjoy it.
By the way, if the Grande effect is bringing in 1 million extra viewers an episode, Frankie Grande is in the top 3 of America's Favorite House Guest. I don't think that Ariana Grande is actually bringing that many people to the table on the Big Brother side.
I agree.
Yeah. A couple other quick things. Tonight was also the premiere of Survivor. I thought it was a fantastic Survivor premiere. I'm very excited to talk about that. We will be getting to that tomorrow. Survivor Know-It-Alls comes to you at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Of course, that's going to shift to Wednesday nights. Not next week, but the week after, in its usual slot after Survivor. Of course, 1 week from tonight, we will be live at the Gotham Comedy Club in Manhattan for our first ever live Survivor Know-It-Alls. Very excited to see all the Rob as a Podcast listeners there on that night. And then we're going to do a meetup afterwards, so just watch Twitter for where we're going to be after that if you can't get into the show. The show's already sold out very quickly, but I'm very excited. The audio and the video of that show. Certainly the audio, and I'll work on the video after the fact, and I'll get that up on our YouTube channel as well. And, of course, so tomorrow it's just going to be a crazy, crazy day. I'm going to start off. I'm going to talk to the first person kicked off of Survivor. I have that call coming into me, I believe, at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. And then right after that, in the next hour, I will talk with Cody, Derrick, and Victoria. I'll try to get those interviews up on my website as soon as possible. So all that is coming tomorrow. Plus then Survivor Know-It-Alls, and then I'll record our big Survivor interview podcast with Kim Sprodlin. We'll talk with her, get her take on all that. And, of course, taking us all the way into the Amazing Race premiere this Friday night. That'll be live at 9:15 p.m. Eastern, 6:15 p.m. Pacific, Ian.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I actually have a very exciting announcement about Survivor.
Oh! It's not a spoiler, is it?
It is not a spoiler.
Okay, what is the exciting announcement, Ian?
Well, I did a lot of thinking about this, and I can officially announce that Baylor can be my Survivor San Juan del Sur QT 3.14 girlfriend if she wants.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Fantastic. By the way, speaking of the trifecta of Survivor, Big Brother, and Amazing Race, there's a new reality TV czar over at CBS, Ian. Did you see this? Congratulations to Big Jeff, who is going to be hosting, I believe, recaps now for, in addition to Big Brother, Survivor and Amazing Race shows on CBS.com. How do you like that?
I mean, I don't know. I kind of like looking at Parv better.
No, Jeff Schroeder is the new host of Survivor Live.
I mean, I just want to look at Parv, Rob.
No, well, she's retired from it. She moved to New York, and I was very interested to see what they were going to do with that. So I know a lot of people have been saying, what, Jeff Schroeder going to host Survivor Live? I kind of like that one person is doing it. I feel like I feel like now I feel like Jeff would be a good interview now because he's following all three of these shows.
But Rob, I'm like in love with Parvati.
Okay, well, she has a girlfriend. She's a boyfriend. She's a boyfriend, Ian. So congratulations.
Matter.
Yeah. Congratulations to Jeff about that. And then one more thing that pertains to you guys, the viewers.
I'm kidding.
We tried to make the Big Brother Bingo extra hard this season, and Brian, we may have made it too hard.
Yes, there were several that came very close, but all of them had all of the squares were very nuanced, were they?
Yes, we made it very hard, and we were really super anal about qualifying the squares. Like if somebody said house guest kicks the ball over the wall and they hit it with a baseball bat, we said no, that doesn't count. It had to be a kick. It had to be this. It had to be that. So what we're gonna do, I'm still giving away the first and second prize for Big Brother Bingo, but I'm going to give first prize to whoever got the most squares. So start looking at your squares, make sure they're confirmed, and then if you think that you have the most Big Brother, and then we also said that the second place, the person with the second most squares, was going to get $150. I'm going to honor that too. And if there's a tie between the top, let's say 2 or 3 people have like 12 squares or whatever, we're going to just split up that money. So that's what's happening with Big Brother Bingo. I want to make sure that you guys feel like we have 100% transparency on this, and I want to make sure that we award a winner so that you guys come on back and play again next year. So, Brian, what would you say probably, if you don't have at least, how many squares do you think don't even bother sending in your card to me?
I think over half of the squares.
Half?
There's someone that has half squares. All
right, let's say that probably if you're not closing in on 9 or 10, I think it's probably not even worth it to send it in.
Well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Open up that mouth.
Oh, yeah. All right. Holla. All right, let's get into it. Ian, our top story this hour. Derrick is your newest Big Brother winner. He only won by a vote of 7-2. Does this ruin Derrick's perfect game, Ian?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
No. Like he can control. I mean, come on, 2 votes. What, 7-2? It's commanding. It's at the end of the day, all that matters is having 4 in the box. I don't care if you played it perfectly and you had 4 votes that you knew you were going to get and 3 votes that you knew you were never going to get. If you knew that ahead of time and you got 4 in there, or, well, 5 now because it's a 9-person jury, all that matters is 5 votes in the box. You got 5 and you played it perfectly up to there. Excellent. Great game.
Brian, what's your take? Is this a perfect game or not?
It is a perfect game, and he got a bonus. So, I mean...
Yeah.
While I think he did play the game perfectly, I don't think this is a perfect game. I think he's got to win 9-0 for it to be a perfect game. I mean, this was a fantastic game, but I think that this is almost like, he went out there, he pitched as good as he could, but, there's an error in the field or whatever, or he didn't cover first on something, and so that's not a perfect game. He's got to get those 2 votes, and obviously, when it's Russell Hantz not getting the jury votes, we say, no, that's a bad play. He didn't get the jury votes. He pissed off people enough to not get those jury votes.
But a majority, though.
And there were 2 dissenting votes.
Yeah, so I don't think this is a perfect game, but this is as damn near close as you can get to a perfect game.
I mean, what do you hold in higher regard? I mean, getting 7 out of votes, 3 of which are totally arbitrary, and being nominated along the way, and having some sort of threat of going home, even though you never get votes, and or never being nominated ever. I mean, you're not even your queue is always in the memory wall every single time for 55 nominations. I mean, he sat in the orange chair only by default at Final 3. I mean, that's a perfect game to me. I'm sorry.
Maybe. All right, Ian. Ian, how about this?
So let me ask you this much, Rob. So I had 6 of 7 votes. So I had 85%, 85.7% of the final votes. And Derrick had 7 out of the 9 votes, so he had 77% of those final votes. Neither of us had an eviction vote cast against us. Each sat on an orange chair exactly once to face the vote throughout the season. Did I play a better game than Derrick?
No, I wouldn't say that, Ian. What I'm saying is that perfect just implies without any flaw whatsoever. So, this is almost like now we're looking at like a diamond underneath the thing. Like, oh yeah, there's a little bit of he didn't get all the votes there. I mean,
I think that if you're playing and you knowingly alienate 4 jury members, but you have 5, and you can bank on those 5, and you get 5 of 9, if you played it perfectly up through there, I think that's a fine to be a perfect game. I think that he played it perfectly. All that matters at the end of the day is 5 votes in the box. Anything after that is ice cream.
Is it fair to examine why there were dissenting votes? I mean, Danielle voted against you, but were you going to get that vote? Derrick lost Jocasta and Donnie, and they voted against him because of his gameplay, because they felt like it was low blows, right?
Well, let's get into that, because I think we're splitting hairs with the perfect thing. I think we both have the utmost respect for the game that Derrick played, and give him lots of props. But he did a fantastic job, and it's really splitting hairs, perfect or not perfect. These 2 jury votes that he missed. Brian, could you speak more about this fake praying that he did? Because I don't remember this being a big deal during the season.
Well, he prayed with Jocasta just about every night, and I would, if I dared tweet, yeah, he's probably fake praying, then I would get attacked by Derrick fans. So, I just put the raps on that. I mean, how dare someone accuse him of fake praying with somebody? But that's something we did talk about on the podcast, the possibility that Jocasta might not take kindly to that.
But how does she know he was fake praying? Did it get back to him in the jury house? Like, hey, by the way, when Derrick was praying with you, he used to come back and tell us all that he was fake praying with you, and then they told Jocasta? Is that what happened?
Well, you got to understand that Jocasta is really close to Donnie, and Donnie went in telling people exactly what he told us tonight, that Derrick turned on his friends and then schmoozed them on the way out the door. And, the night before Jocasta was evicted, he was there praying with her just like every other night.
Okay. Jocasta, whatever. What are you gonna say about Jocasta? I mean, Ian, Jocasta did a pretty good job though. She on a scale of 0 to 100, she did play a 90 this season. That was pretty good.
I really think
On a scale to 1,000.
Yeah, right. I think it makes me feel really good about myself. That I think I'm one of the only people that can actually look at their game honestly and critically.
Yeah. No, Jocasta's on another planet. But let's talk about Donnie, who was somebody who, I thought had a good sense of the game at times. Of course, he's not a player without his flaws. But I have to say, I do feel like Donnie was a bitter juror tonight to not give Derrick his vote. Ian, what's your take on this? Donnie, is he officially a bitter juror?
I mean, I thought that the Cody vote there was a sympathy one, is what I've been understanding.
Well, how do we know? How do we know what's a sympathy vote and what's an actual vote? He said when he voted, "I wish I had my Skittles right now." Does that sound like a sympathy vote?
I mean, I think that he voted just because he liked Cody slightly better. I mean, I don't know that this is bitterness, though. I mean, is it really possible for Donnie to be bitter?
Brian, what's your take on the Donnie situation?
We don't know. Someone may have told him in jury about Derrick saying that he would slap the Skittles or M&Ms out of his hand, when they got to talking about the Skittles things. And so we don't really know exactly what was shared and why he's so angry about it in jury, but Donnie, it's definitely, if you want to qualify, it's definitely a bitter vote, but it's based off of, I mean, for God's sake, he said that in the diary, he said that Donnie stabbed his friends in the back. That Derrick did. That he was one of Donnie's friends. Derrick was.
Let's look at this from the Cody perspective, and on the Donnie thing, one last note on that. Made me like Donnie a little bit less than I did this season. I felt like that was I did not think that was a great look for Donnie to not give Derrick the vote in the end. That being said, let's talk about Cody, who I thought probably came off the worst tonight out of any of the house guests this season. Cody's buffoonish move here tonight to not take Victoria to the final two. First off, is there any question, Ian? Does Cody any chance Cody loses the game to Victoria?
I don't think so. I mean, I think they tried to sell it to us that was a possibility, but realistically, I think that was classic misdirection.
Yeah, and so this was, in all honesty, a $450,000 mistake. Ian, do you think Cody sees it that way?
Not now. But tomorrow?
Oh yeah. We're gonna talk about this tomorrow with Cody. That I can assure you.
It's gonna sink in when he gets the runner-up check, and it's missing an extra 0.
Yeah, because
he's gonna play woulda, shoulda, coulda for a long time.
Cody seemed to take exception tonight. He seemed very rattled when the jurors asked him, Frankie's question of, "So, Cody, tell me. We felt like you were the puppet and Derrick was the puppet master." And he was like, "Oh, yeah? Well, how do you like that? I voted you out. So why don't you sit your ass down, Frankie?" What was he thinking tonight?
I think there was like a moment on the feeds where Derrick and Cody were talking about calling out people if they started confronting them with their jury questions. I mean, obviously, Cody doesn't realize that these are like pool questions. They're not really asking from their own personal perspective. But, Derrick got Cody to say that he would call Frankie out specifically if he tried to question him about whatever. So maybe that influenced him.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole Cody thing, he just seemed very agitated the whole night, Ian.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you. I agree completely on that.
And if he was agitated, I mean, did he think he was going to beat Derrick? And if so, on what grounds?
He counted the votes the other night and knew he wouldn't beat Derrick. That's what stuns me the most is he never thought there was any chance that he could beat Derrick. Like, he counted it, right? And he realized that he would lose, but he still took him based on loyalty. That's what's interesting.
Yeah, and give credit for Derrick for just beating it into these guys, you know, along the way. But I mean, I just don't get it. Ian, who had the worst blunder in giving the game to a cop in 2014? Was it Cody or was it Wu? Who can we defend more?
I feel like I can defend simply because Wu cost himself 900,000 and Cody cost himself 450. I think I can defend Cody a little more, but both equally as bad.
No, wrong. Wu is better. Wu is better. That I think that Wu was under the impression that there were people that didn't like Tony on the jury. That I think that there was a little bit of a thought that Tony burned too many bridges. He backstabbed too many people. Cody was worse than Wu.
Interesting. I mean, it's an interesting thought.
Wu thought he could win. Wu thought he could win, right?
Yeah, he thought he was.
I guess that's true.
He thought he was doing the honorable thing, and that Tony was the dishonorable guy, and he thought that he was gonna go ahead and look good with the jury. And I can't even defend what Cody did.
I mean, both are laughably bad. Yeah. Let's leave it at that.
Who had the more impressive win on CBS for a police officer this year, Derrick or Tony, Ian?
Honestly, I think Derrick. I'm still wowed by it. Just 97 days, never nominated. The only time he sat on one show was at Final 3 by default. In a season where there are 4 nominees a week. I mean, it's incredible to me. It's incredible.
What was the bigger advantage, the Tyler Perry Idol or Team America, Ian?
Tyler Perry Idol, come on.
Yeah, no. Derrick was better. I love Tony, but Derrick was better than Tony. Tony was great, but Derrick was just more dominant. You know, Tony kept it interesting, and Tony just lived on the tightrope. Derrick never even had to get on a tightrope. He was just never in danger the whole time. Tony was like gunslinging the whole game. Tony, 10 times better team TV. Team TV for sure. Derrick is team non-TV. He's terrible TV, but he is played a better and more dominant game than Tony did.
Tony's like Han Solo, and Derrick's like Palpatine.
Yeah, okay. Well, Brian, I didn't know you were so into the Star Wars references.
God, I'm a geek.
Yeah. So how about Dr. Will tonight? Now, I love Dr. Will. Nobody's a bigger Dr. Will fan than I am. I'm always going to say that, you know, he's the top, so I don't even care what the facts say. Dr. Will is, you know, just my all-time favorite reality TV person of all time. But I thought Dr. Will was a little boring tonight, Ian.
I mean, it wasn't the most interesting or captivating thing there, but you know, it was what it was.
I felt like he was even better last year. I mean, I guess he didn't have as much to work with these guys.
He did call Zach out at one point for saying Victoria acted like she was at summer camp, and he told Zach that he was at summer camp and she was still playing the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like this side of Dr. Will where he's like trying to be like devil's advocate with everything. Like, I think that what's fun about Dr. Will is when he's giving his honest opinions about stuff, but I feel like in this spot, it's not as fun. I almost feel like, in some ways, like maybe Dan is better for this. He did it on Big Brother Canada because I feel like at least Dan can sort of like be like, hey, you never know, it could be this or it could be this, like Dan. But whereas I want Dr. Will like you know, shooting from the hip a little bit.
Well, he wasn't going out there spraying mist like Dan would, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like last year, it's like, oh, wait, Dr. Will is gonna give these guys a piece of his mind. Last year, and this year it was really like, I mean, he was almost, you know, Chenbot-esque. That he was very, very vanilla, Dr. Will.
Just like the Socratic thing, where people would say something and he would ask the question right back to him. I think that's kind of what he does, though, to get people talking.
Yeah, I just feel like it wasn't. I mean, if that's what you're gonna have, like, why not have Big Jeff do that? I mean, that he could go ahead and ask them the same sort of questions of like, all right, is Victoria dumb, or is Victoria actually smarter than you guys because she's still in the house?
Well, they probably gave Dr. Will a buttload of money to do that, so he ain't
Is that
asking
what
any
they
questions.
did? They gave Dr. Will a buttload of money? Like, I want to hear Dr. Will make fun of Victoria. I don't know.
Maybe he wasn't paid to do that.
I don't. Is that more money if you want him to be funny? He was very funny on Big Brother 14, Ian, and I don't know how much if they had to give him money for that.
Who knows how much they cut out of that, though. That's the other thing.
Yeah. I did like before Beast Mode Cowboy came in, they asked everybody, okay, who do you think is coming out next? They're like, Beast Mode Cowboy, definitely Caleb. And he's like, he comes out like, daggone it, can you believe it's me? I can't believe it. And they're like, yeah, we all believe it. we all knew it was going to be you. What did you think of Frankie and Beast Mode Cowboy's discussion of what speaks louder, actions or words? When Frankie goes to Nicole, Ian, and tells Nicole, I want you to put Caleb up on the block, is that words or is that actions?
What kind of question is that?
I mean, to me, that feels like that. Even though it's technically words, it still seems like an action of, hey, I want you to go put Cody on the block.
They wanted to have this argument while they're during the jury deliberations about who left in the house deserved it, right? Frankie wanted to talk about himself.
Yeah. All right. Well, if Frankie wants to talk about himself, let's talk a little bit about Frankie. Frankie is going to be a guest tomorrow of Julie Chen on The Talk tomorrow. Ian, do you have your DVR set?
No, I do not.
You don't want to see Frankie Grande on The Talk?
With like discussion and cooking tips and makeup. I don't know what it
Ian,
is.
have you ever watched The Talk?
I watched the episode I was on. I think I was immediately followed by like some chef guy giving like tips on how to make a brisket or something. That doesn't interest me, Rob. Doesn't interest me.
Well, at least they're going to have Derrick on, Brian, because I was a little annoyed that it looked like to me that earlier in the day when they were promoting that Frankie was going to be on, I thought it wasn't right that they were going to have Frankie and not the winner of Big Brother on The Talk.
Well, for God's sakes, I mean, Frankie didn't even win America's Favorite Player.
No, he did not.
The picture circulating of him with like when he wasn't in the top three, it's amazing. Incredible.
It's very good. It's very good. So what kind of a mogul are you if you can't get in the top 3 for America's Favorite House Guest, Ian? That doesn't seem very mogul-y.
Not a very good one, evidently.
All right. Let's open up to some of your questions. I know you guys are going to have a lot here tonight on our Big Brother finale night. Very, very, very exciting night. Scott St. Pierre's got a lot of questions up. Squidman23 says, am I the only one that thinks friends and family were allowed in the audience? It seemed really small for the finale. What do you think about the audience? And Ian, did you happen to notice Ariana Grande in the audience?
I did see that. And
sitting with Rachel?
What's that? No, I didn't really notice that.
Yeah. So, yeah, she was there. I'm surprised they didn't call attention to her though.
Well, I don't know. I'm
Maybe she didn't want to be
curious as to whether the current studio audience area is smaller than the previous one, where they used to set up the bleachers in the stadium seating. That's what I kind of wonder that, because I remember that stage looking mighty small when I first moved in, and then it looking vast when I left.
Ian, how come they sit the pre-jury people on the right-hand side now, where they used to seat them on the left-hand side?
Rob, I have no idea.
You're the oracle. I feel like you have all the answers.
Make up something.
Camera views with the current lights on the stage.
Is it that Ariana Grande can only be filmed from that one side, from one angle?
Perhaps.
That's what I hear.
She's not a diva.
She's
Diva Rob.
not that. That's absolutely not true. That's not a diva. Okay, let's go to Vaughn Lewis, who says, also, why didn't they talk to the pre-jury evictees? We would have loved to see Devin and Amber speak. Yeah, where was our Devin segment? Where was our Amber Beast Mode Cowboy segment? Where was our Pow Pow showing off her Kaltoro tattoo?
Maybe they were all threatening to put everybody on blast, so they just cut it out.
Is that what happened, Ian? You think that the pre-jury people seemed too rowdy, or they were too boring?
They were too boring, Rob. I really don't know what they could have added to the season. They were all kind of, I mean, with the exception of Devin, I think they all kind of fizzled out pretty quick and didn't leave that much of an impression on the season as a whole.
Yeah, we couldn't have asked Devin about, hey, what, did you start the bomb squad? How's your daughter? Anything?
I mean, I feel like Devin is the only one I'd have liked to have heard from. Period.
He would have said, well, Derrick used his family. If they would have asked him that, so they don't want that to happen.
Derrick totally ripped off my strategy this season. He talked about his daughter. I invented that strategy. How about we didn't get any talk about Derrick's grandfather in the finale? Are you surprised that we didn't see any of that? Brian?
Someone accused him of using that to further himself in the game.
Well,
who mentioned that?
I think it was Frankie mentioned that Derrick said to him, "Hey, we have the grandfather bond. We can never stab each other in the back."
Yeah, but Frankie did that too, to be fair. But Frankie's in the jury, just throwing that right back at him. So Frankie's no better than Derrick, but they both did it, just like the family. Go ahead.
Okay. Here, let's keep firing away. This is from Lori, who says, "What was the whole point of these trackers they wore all season, Ian?"
Aside from that one have-not thing, I guess it was just something to perhaps entertain the hardcore fans that care about their calorie count.
Yeah.
Also, I noticed a lot of people making fun of the fact Frankie gained like 30 pounds.
Oh, okay. How is that possible? He doesn't look like he gained 30 pounds.
Evidently, he gained 27 pounds in the house.
Brian, are you buying that?
Yes, he worked out a lot, and with the proper diet, muscle weighs more than fat, so he probably put on some muscle in the house.
Brian, I had no idea you're like a nutritionist.
I mean, he refused to be a have-not, yo.
Yeah, okay. If you refuse to, be a have-not, you could put on 20 pounds of muscle in the summer.
He's Frankie freaking Grande.
Yeah, go Grande or go home, Ian.
I'm just so ready for this season to end.
Ian, you seem like beside yourself tonight.
I'm sick. I am sick.
You're sick over Zach not winning America's favorite player?
No. As in, I'm physically sick. I have a fever and I'm nursing a cold.
Oh my God, Ian. Well, I hope you're feeling better soon.
I hope so too. I mean, I'm pumped to contribute. I mean, let me get more into this, but I am really sick.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you, answering the call of duty here. You're like Jocasta. We have to have Brian Lynch go win the veto for you.
Yeah, right. Go set my glasses on the nomination chair to sub in for me.
Was that why you were going to wear a tie before?
Perhaps.
All right. Let's take a question from Brent Walgamot. And Brent says, BB15 Andy and BB16 Derrick both sat in the orange chair once, and both won 7-2. Why is Andy considered terrible? Okay, well, I don't consider Andy terrible.
Yeah, I think that anyone that has a, pretty informed opinion of the game understands why what Andy did was really excellent. I mean, he's very much one of the best players and definitely one of the top tier winners on the show. I mean, that's really not anything that I would question. I think that if you have to pick one player to play for your life in a season of Big Brother players, assuming they don't know each other and Dan and Will are off the table and can't be selected, I think Andy is probably one of the 3 players that I would consider picking to play for my life.
You would take
Must win.
for must win for your life. You would take Andy over Derrick.
Derrick, Andy, Hayden, and if you include Canada, I think
Hayden Voss.
Moss.
Okay.
And Netta are the 4 that I would feel fairly comfortable with against a random field.
No Danielle Reyes?
Not if she takes Jason Guy to the end. The plans on it. I would say Jason Guy and Danielle Reyes would probably be my 5 and 6 there.
Okay. All right. So we'll answer the question though, Ian. If you had Derrick or Andy, your life is on the line.
I'll take Derrick.
I think I'll take Derrick too. Brian, are we wrong about this?
I prefer Andy because, I mean, he didn't have to make up stuff about other house guests being demeaning or malicious to women.
Yeah, but I bet his record is not perfect if you went back and watched the live feeds throughout the season.
Well, no, he did.
I'm sure some of the Alyssa fans can
Oh,
testify to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a question from Guillaume, who says, "Wasn't Joey on Team America?" No, that never happened. Ian, Joey was never in Team America.
Yeah, Rob, I have no idea what this person is talking about.
Brian, why did somebody say that Joey is in Team America? That never happened. It was Derrick, it was Donnie, and it was Frankie. There was no Joey in Team America.
Well, we do remember that she told Hayden that she was America's player. I believe
that didn't happen. That didn't happen, Brian.
It was told to Team America players, so they knew, even though no one else knows.
If it happened, then why wasn't it shown in the Team America montage?
Why didn't they show Derrick telling Zach that he was literally stealing food out of his daughter's mouth?
Yeah, and I also felt like in the Team America montage, I felt like they missed some other things, some other gems they could have shown, like when Team America had the mission to save Donnie and Frankie wanted to have the play. They also didn't show us when Team America made Zach say the speech. That how do you think that Zach is going to react to this stuff, Ian, when he sees all this?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
How's Zach going to react to all this Team America stuff?
I mean, I think he's going to wonder why he wasn't put in it, that's for sure. And I think a lot of people, if they could go back, would definitely have liked to have had him in it than any of those 3 except for Donnie.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see how this is all going to go on social media. So, Ian, at what point are these guys going to get their phones back? Tonight. And then, so what should we expect on social media? Give us the forecast.
Probably around about 4 a.m. Eastern time, maybe around 4 a.m. Eastern time, 3 a.m. Eastern time, we might see Big Brother House guests start tweeting again.
Okay. And so then what's the plan for them? Then they're going to be here for a couple days, and then you think that they're going to – how many of them do you think are going to go to Vegas?
Maybe like 4 or 5.
Yeah, so not many of them. Probably not – who from this cast do you think is going to go to Vegas? The pre-jury people?
I have no idea. I don't think many people are going to
go. Yeah. All right. I don't think Derrick's going.
Something tells me he's not either.
I don't think he's going. And Frankie's got to get.
He won't have to hear that. So, $550,000 on black joke like 18 times.
Like you did, yeah.
I mean, that's just everybody just thinks they're so clever. So, $500,000 on black, right, man? Wow, I'm so original. Yeah, no.
Ian, will you send Derrick a note welcoming him to the Big Brother Winter Club?
Well, why, thank you for reminding me. I will tweet him right now. Thank you.
He has a Twitter, Derrick?
Yes, he does.
Okay. And then we know Frankie's not going to Vegas. He's got to get to New York to be with Ariana Grande to work on her set for Saturday Night Live this weekend.
Right.
Ariana Grande's career has been a little bit on has certainly slowed down without the help of Frankie Grande this summer.
Yeah, I mean, it's odd over the course of it being him going in, and when I first found out that he was going in there, I heard, and I was like, well, I've heard of her. I mean, I don't really know much about her, but I mean, wow, I mean, really a name in the news, huh?
Mm-hmm. From the second she was separated from Frankie Grande, her career completely skyrocketed. All right, so we'll see what happens when they're brought back together.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. All right, I'm sure he'll have some thoughts on Saturday Night Live this weekend. Oscar Appleseed says, did you see Nicole's reaction to Team America? She was dumbfounded. Ian, what's the update on Nicole and Hayden?
Well, I did take pleasure, Rob, in the fact that she said that her family seeing the kiss was awkward, and that was the most embarrassing thing. So I hope that this means that it was kind of like a fun summer thing, and that perhaps I can get her to Houston and take her to the Olive Garden.
What's she going to think about you announcing your Survivor QT 3.14?
Yeah.
I mean, Rob, that happens every season.
It just happens.
It's classic. Until I'm in a solid relationship, Rob, I will pick a QT 3.14 for every season. And really even just like arbitrary things like the Winter Olympics as well.
You pick a QT 3.14 for the Winter Olympics?
Yeah. Hesjibako, speed skater from Norway, was my 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics QT 3.14.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Grave Guy 18. Grave Guy says, how do you think the season would have been different if there was no Team America? Does Derrick still win? I know Brian Lynch says no, right, Brian?
I do say no.
Ian, does Derrick still win if there is no Team America?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think but he still wins?
Fight.
Yeah, of course he still wins. Yeah, Derrick still wins if there's no Team America.
Brian, counterpoint.
Frankie realized that Derrick was popular, and that drove a wedge between him and Zach forever. I believe that was it. Zankies was there to take out Derrick, and Team America made that impossible.
Interesting. Very interesting point.
You damn right, it's interesting.
Never really thought about it from that direction.
Yeah, I think it definitely would have been a tougher road for Derrick because it bonded him not only with Frankie but also with Donnie. So there was, Donnie was less incentivized to really take a shot at those guys, and Frankie and Derrick were less incentivized to take a shot at each other. And you definitely could see an alternate universe where there's no Team America, where maybe Frankie goes off and starts to develop his own subsect of the detonators with Zach, and Derrick is doing his own thing with Cody, and maybe we end up sort of like having a thing sort of like Amanda and Helen last season where the alliance sort of starts to splinter. But instead, it is sort of, in an inorganic way, kept Derrick and Frankie together maybe longer than they would have stayed together had it not been for Team America.
Derrick went in the game playing for a charity as well, just like Frankie, except it was unfair to criticize him for his charity because it was family, which is one of the reasons he was criticized by the jury for using his family to advance himself into the game.
Well, I don't know if that's fair, Brian, to say that, to compare Derrick playing for his kids and Frankie building schools in Africa.
But it's the same thing within the game, right? You sympathize with me for what the cause I'm playing for. There is no difference. The difference is Derrick was able to make the emotional connection with the person he was making the pitch to, and it affected them.
Okay. And we dropped Ian for a second. We'll try to get him back. But I feel like that's part of his character, that he's just a person with, a person that has kids isn't the same as a person who's going to donate their money to charity. It's just, I feel like it's I don't know.
To the house in the same way. That's the only point I'm making.
Yeah.
Right? It's not the same because he's feeding his family and he's feeding people he don't know.
Yeah, I think it still appeals to the same part of people's brains where it's like, hey, I'm playing for charity. If they're like, hey, I'm playing for my family, I think it's the same part of your brain that says, oh, well, I guess I don't want to do anything bad to this person because they're playing for something noble, but I don't think it's quite the same. Like, I feel like the I'm playing for charity thing could make you roll your eyes a little bit sometimes if it's not done the right way. And I'm playing for my family is like, boy, it's hard to not give the person the money when they're doing it for their kids.
Yeah, and I begin to roll my eyes over that about after 1,000 times.
All right.
Whatever.
All right, so this is from Ariana's Shadow wants to say, did you notice Christine entering under the radar so she didn't get booze? Yeah, no booze for Christine tonight, Ian.
Yeah, I think they controlled the audience a little bit more. I think the first person to get booze is typically going to be like the last person to get booze. I think they exercise a little bit more caution from there on.
Yeah. I think it was definitely a more controlled audience there tonight than when Christine ultimately went home. Ian, what do you think for Christine? What do you think that her re-entry into the world will be like?
I'm pretty interested. I heard that her and her husband are like immediately going on vacation.
To Vegas?
So it is not to Vegas. It is. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but they are going on vacation immediately, from what I heard. So I wish them all the best, and I would love to get into contact with her.
Yeah, Ian, I know you're
not to try and hook up with her. Thank you, Rob.
She's not the QT 3.14. Ian, I know you're not feeling well. Do you want to turn in for the night?
No, I'm fine, Rob. I can handle it.
Okay, I don't want to force you because I still have a bunch of questions I want to get to tonight, and I don't want to keep you up late. I know you have work tomorrow too.
I do, yes.
Okay. Well, at any point you need to tap out, you just let me know. No worries. Let's go to Anthony Ward, who says, "Does Amber really need that restraining order?" No, I don't think so. I think that Caleb is going to be on to bigger and better things now. I think.
Yeah, I think that Caleb actually, although not in my mind, completely cleaned up his image, but I think that it's certainly cleaner, and I think a lot of people ended up really liking him for being like a lovable doofus, so I think he'll do just fine.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and go to Sir Render, who says, I'm pissed. They had a huge segment on Team America, which barely even happened this season. And what's up with Derrick getting extra time to talk about him being a cop? I don't know. I mean, I think that it's the finale. You had these things that were secrets, and you had to talk about it.
I think we need to address why is he getting a bonus of $50,000 before we get to why he's getting extra time to talk about why he's a cop. I think that's kind of legit, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is odd that they didn't bring that up either. But what are you gonna do? Did you notice I changed my background? It's all Derrick tonight on the computer behind me.
It's like the season.
I did not catch that.
It's all Derrick in the montage tonight. It's just flashing Derrick.
You should have done that day one.
Yeah. Somebody just tweeted this to me. It's kind of interesting. Tell me if what you make of it. So there's a Twitter account that's called BB Predictions, and the avatar is just an egg, and it's at the BB Prediction, and all of the tweets are from July 13th, and the tweets say, Derrick Levasseur will win Big Brother 16. Cody Calafiore will be the runner-up in Big Brother 16. The jury vote will be 7-2. America's favorite player will be Donnie, and Victoria will come in third place in Big Brother 16. What do you make of this, Ian?
Wait, can you send me this? The BB.
It's the BB Prediction. It's Twitter.com/the BB Prediction. Now, I don't know. I hadn't heard about this on July 13th, but I don't know if you can doctor the dates on these Twitter things either.
No, and I mean, okay, yeah, Derrick will win Big Brother 16. That's okay, yeah, July 13th.
We said that
we're not exactly going out on a limb there. Right? Now, the other stuff, the jury vote specifically, and Victoria will come in third place. That is, I mean, yeah, you knew Victoria was probably going to go far, I think, at least in my mind.
There's only these 5 tweets. and they're all from July 13th. And there's no other wrong tweets though, unless the BB predictions just tweeted a million things on July 13th and then just deleted all the wrong corrections. Yeah, is that what happened?
One tweet for every person in the house.
They just like made like an infinite number like of every permutation of outcomes, and then just went and deleted them with time as those were progressively eliminated, so that they look smart at the end.
Yeah, and then we didn't look at it all through. Maybe that's what happened. Interesting.
Quite interesting indeed.
That's fun. People are crazy. Okay, Jeff Strong says, has Derrick passed Dan or Dr. Will and is now in the top 2? All right. Ian.
Yes.
All right. Tell me the truth. All right. So Dan and Dr. Will, respectively, are number 1 and number 2, and you can order them however your personal preference is. That's fair to say, right?
As players, yes.
Yeah. Well, we're not talking about them as people.
No. Players, yes. Dr. Will and Dan are 1 and 2. However, ranking winning games is different.
Yes. And I know I've gotten into this with Survivor in talking about the winners and stuff like this. But all right, how do you want to approach this? Do you want to talk about actual seasons, or you want to talk about players?
Okay, so I'm gonna start by saying this: Derrick's Big Brother 16 game is the best game of Big Brother, the best winning game of Big Brother ever played.
I think it would be hard to dispute that.
Right.
I mean,
that is the best winning game ever played, if not the best game, period.
Yeah. I think it would be tough to dispute that because he just was never in danger at any point.
Right. It was Spradlin-esque.
Spradlin-esque. Kim Spradlin-esque. So I think that would be tough to beat. Brian, would you disagree?
I do not disagree. He was in control of the narrative like 100% of the time. If you don't lose control of the narrative, there's no way anyone will turn against you.
But Dr. Will and Dan both did it twice. They both went almost as far as they could go in the case of Dr. Will, and in the case of Dan, he got to the final 2 a second time. And until Derrick does that, I don't think that you could put Derrick ahead of those other guys.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, collective body of work comes into play. And the fact that we've had twice the sample size for Will and Dan against arguably harder competition, arguably. I'm not saying that Big Brother 14 was, filled with a bunch of brainiacs or anything, but
at the end of the day, Big Brother 16 had the smartest competitors of all time. You had me, Victoria, Jocasta, Joey, Amber, Devin.
Well, fair enough. The other thing you have to keep in mind is, like, people are always very quick to say, like, oh, I don't know, I mean, you can't say just Will's competition at All-Stars was stronger. I mean, they had Chicken George and, Marcellus, what great players they were. But you have to realize that was an incredibly strong cast on average, because every Big Brother cast, I don't care what cast it is, has its fair share, of just complete morons.
Yeah.
And he went back into the house knowing he'd be target number 1. You think Derrick's going to go back into the house? He would be in the doghouse from the get-go. And if he was able to advance himself like Dr. Will did in an All-Stars season, then he would be considered one of the best.
Yeah. I mean, I think that simply by saying Chicken George, Marcellus, and Erica played Big Brother All-Stars, it doesn't do you any service at all to any argument that disparages Dr. Will's game there, specifically because that means you're basically, you name those 3, and then you say, well, the other 10 or 11, if you count Jace, pretty, certainly above replacement, right?
Yeah.
Definitely above replacement. And the other thing is, I don't really, you can say, like, yeah, Joey or Jody or something like that, but at a certain point, just the fact that they had experience before means that they're inherently better. that being, because it's one of those things you can only really learn how to play unless you've done it before. It's difficult to know what you're doing unless you've done it previously.
Or you could be Dr. Will and get it right the first time.
Well, that's true. That goes for any first-time player that wins. But that being said, I think that for the for any season except for All-Stars, you pretty much half the cast are just complete morons.
Yeah. Big Brother, it's not always Jeopardy
simply,
Tournament of Champions.
Yeah, simply naming like 3 people, like you go, oh, I don't think Dan had a hard competition at all. I mean, Ashley, Jody, Jen, Joe, like
Jen City.
That doesn't do anything, right? That means nothing. You can name that. I could just pick any season at random and come up with 4 names that I can say in this exaggerated voice like this, and it would have the same effect. You think Danielle Race was good? She played against Jerry and Amy and Marcellus.
Well, what about Big Brother 9?
Okay, well that's interesting because there were like 15 players that were just like completely.
I just want to hear you say more names in the voice.
Well, fair enough. So Jacob, Parker, Jen, Amanda, Alex, pretty much everybody except for maybe Sharon and Adam.
Like testing him on his pre-jury boot knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe Sheila, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Sharon, Adam, Ryan, and Sheila were.
This is my new favorite segment on the show, where Ian just rattles off people, the worst players from every season in like a Grover voice.
Yeah, I mean, it just does. It just does nothing. Right?
Okay, let's get to some more questions. Let's get to some more questions. Okay, this is from Mark, and Mark says, was the best part of tonight's finale when Frankie realized that his millions of followers let him down? Wait till he finds out that his own Twitter tweeted to vote for Zach for America's favorite house guest. How about that, Ian?
That'll be fun.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a very interesting time in the Grande household.
I agree.
I think it's going to be very interesting because Ariana Grande has reached levels of fame that were probably almost unfathomable for Frankie going into the house, and then Frankie comes out of the house feeling like he's a pretty big deal now that he was just on Big Brother, and so I wonder if there'll be any sort of like bumping heads between the siblings.
No, because she's famous and he's infamous.
Yes, she's going to just tell him to get in line and then do what he's supposed to do?
Well, she gives him an autograph.
Okay, he gives an autograph? I think that's going to be very interesting. I would love to see a reality show about this, but like it's got to be like Breaking Bonaducci. I want it to be the real. Okay. Ms. Yo Dizzle wants to say, why did Derrick let Cody take so much credit? Because I don't think that anybody was like okay, Cody did a great job.
He had buffer votes.
Yeah. He had enough. He didn't have to sweat that. Okay, let's take one from Roshana K. Mofidi, who said, did Cody ever consider taking Victoria over Derrick? No. John Party, he is not, Ian.
Nope.
And really, it was said. It's so funny that between Big Brother US, Big Brother Canada, and Survivor, these 3 things within the last 9 months, if we're just counting the final 3, in the last 5 months, we've seen this exact scenario play out 3 times, and one time the person did the right thing, and that was when John Party took Sabrina to the final 2 and got his money and then started dating the person who was in the final 3. He's the biggest winner out of all these people. You had Wu, who thought he could beat Tony but should have taken Cass, and then I'm not sure. That's the one I'm not sure 100% if he would have beaten Cass. Probably, but I think Cass says she would have won. And then,
I'm sure she says a lot of things.
And then this is probably the worst of the 3, that Cody takes Derrick to the finals and gets just smoked by Derrick when he would have smoked Victoria.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. Poor gameplay, and it exemplifies exactly the game that Cody has used the entire season.
Ian, I think production this season really did not care for Victoria. Am I reading too much into that?
Oh, of course, Rob. I think that they had nothing but the highest of
Because I get
expectations about her.
tweets and emails from people that are like, Rob, you are way too hard on Victoria. Victoria's awesome. You're hard on her. And I don't think I've ever I've really made fun of her that much, other than to say that I think she's one of the worst players ever. But am I wrong about this, Ian? Can you make a case as Victoria not one of the worst players ever? I mean, I think she did do a good job with not freaking out every time she went up on the block, but other than that, I don't really know exactly what the hype is about.
I mean, I really have a hard time saying that she's the worst player ever, simply on the basis that she's
the worst player ever. Again, you can't make it to the Final Three and be the worst player ever. But at some point, she's so bad, she's good. Like she's bad in the way.
For a lot of people.
She's bad in a way where it's not like she's not like Joey bad, where she's not like exploding all the time and being uncontrollable. She's just good enough to be bad enough to take all the way to the end.
She's as good as a sack of potatoes if you have to compete against it.
Yeah. So I know, but I feel like Victoria has a lot of defenders, Ian.
She very well might.
She does. She has a lot of defenders, and they let me hear it that I'm way too hard on Victoria.
Ugh.
So
I don't get it, man.
I don't know. But I thought it was funny with Julie Chen tonight. So Julie Chen asked Victoria. She's like, "So Victoria, there are some who would say that you didn't play this game at all this season. What do you say to your detractors?" They call that in the business, that's called the straw man technique of, where you would say, there are some people, Ian Terry, who say, you're a real a-hole. What do you say to those people? It's like, of course, I'm not saying that about you, but there are these other people that are saying that about you, Victoria. What's your take on that? Like yeah, go ahead.
She had this thing where she was bragging to other people earlier in the season about getting out of diary room interviews by saying she wasn't ready and she needed to get her hair done, and then they just never called her back. And she was laughing about this, and I thought, well, that's just shows how naive she is, because she needs to be in there telling her story, and she just didn't care about the game at all.
No.
Like Zach said, she was at summer camp.
Yeah, I'm Batman. Okay. Let's do a couple more questions. This is from Bradley Board, and Bradley says, does Donnie get $50K for Derrick winning, or is it just Frankie and Derrick? No, that only Derrick gets $50K for Derrick winning.
Yeah,
right. Donnie gets 25.
He gets 25, and and Frankie gets just the Team America money, and then that's it. Okay. Niraj Yoshi wants to say, who gave the best TV this season? Okay, Brian, you like good TV. I like good TV.
I like good TV, and good TV to me is Zach.
I would agree 100%.
Who else gave good TV?
Nicole. I think that I had a subtle appreciation for Derrick, but I feel like that's lost to a lot of people.
Ian, I hate to say, I think Nicole was just okay TV.
Devin was amazing.
Rob, let's not get too critical.
Brian, who was amazing?
Devin was amazing.
Devin was great TV. Devin was great TV. Let's be fair, Joey was good TV.
Yeah, sure.
That was good TV. I hate to say, at the end of the day, Beast Mode Cowboy was good TV.
He was pretty good TV.
He was pretty good TV. What about Frankie? Was Frankie good TV, Ian?
No, I think he was trying too hard to be good TV, and it just wasn't really doing that.
I feel like the things about Frankie that were good TV were not the things that Frankie would say were good TV.
Well, I think his delusions were.
Yes, that was good. Like when he didn't get was some of the best TV of the season when they said it's a resounding no, and that was really some of the best stuff when he was getting nasty. That was some of the best TV. Anybody else good TV, Brian?
Really not coming to the top of my head. I mean, Jocasta had her moments, but mostly her good TV was dampered by a case of constipation or heat exhaustion or whatever it was.
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture of the cast. So Ian, could you give a letter grade to the casting for this season?
Say a B.
A B.
B minus.
B minus. I don't know. I think you might be grading on a curve.
Oh, certainly, Rob.
I think so.
I think they struck gold with a couple of people, and they're riding the strength of that. And I think they left kind of at different parts of the season, so they were kind of able to ride the popularity wave of that as well.
I just think they had a bunch of misses here along the way, and with all due respect, I'm saying I feel like Amber, Brittany, Christine. I mean, I'll give Cody a pass that I know he was. If you want to say that he's there to be the hot guy in the house. Jocasta.
Why do we need hot guys?
I don't know. Jocasta was a big miss for me. At least Joey gave you that one crazy week. Pow Pow was a miss. Victoria was a miss. I feel like they did a pretty good job with. I'd say they did a great job with the guys, but all season long we said the women here were very subpar in the casting. I don't know if they need to go back to the drawing board or what with these women.
I think they've had a hard time finding compelling women for a while, and I thought that when we saw Netta in Northern Canada that we had seen kind of the light. She was extremely compelling as a female player. She was excellent to watch. And this is not even taking into account that she was a beautiful woman. I mean, this is just raw gameplay, and she was compelling viewing. She was interesting, and that's the kind of women that I would prefer on this show. That being said, if they want to have more Victoria and Pow Pow and I don't know who else on there, just because they fill a bikini out well, but add nothing else, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, and I feel like the common denominator with a lot of these people that we just mentioned, like going back to the casting interviews that they did, a lot of them seem to have like a similar story of like, yeah, I was at a bar and somebody approached me to be on the show, or I've never really seen the show before, but about a month ago I was somewhere, somebody ran into me. I mean, that's got to be the case with Amber, Brittany, Pow Pow, Joey. I guess Jocasta was a fan, right, Brian?
Jocasta was a fan, yes, indeed she was. So about 3 or 4 people were hardcore fans.
Yeah, and Victoria, we don't know what her deal was either. So I don't know. Let's keep going. A few more questions here tonight on Big Brother finale night. Subu says, will this go down as one of the forgotten seasons of Big Brother? Had Cody taken Victoria to the final 2 over Derrick? First off, will this season go down as a forgotten season, Ian?
I don't. I mean, I think that it'll come up as
they're all memorable.
It's certainly not stellar by any stretch of the imagination, but I certainly think that it's better than most. Mainly because it really is, to me, it is the Big Brother equivalent of Survivor One World, right? Where it might not be the most entertaining viewing because the outcome is so obvious. So I mean, since before Derrick put the croquet ball in hole 28, I mean, he was pegged as winner, and pretty much everybody knew it.
Yeah, especially the BB prediction on Twitter. Called it in July.
And it just seemed abundantly obvious that was what was going to happen, and here we are. I mean, 3 months later, I mean, we had to sit through all that just for the very obvious ending. And what it comes down to for me is that it wasn't there was no suspense, right? It seemed to me that Derrick was always going to win. The only moment of suspense that I felt was in the last episode when Cody had the power to evict him, but didn't. And I watched that, and I was just like, well, I mean, I doubt that Cody gets rid of him, and he didn't, and then I moved on, and that was it.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's do 2 more questions here. This is from, let me take this one. Confused Perspective says, did anyone ever come as closest to revealing their vote for a winner as Zach did this year? Zach got in trouble, Ian.
Zach did get yelled at. Kathy, hers was pretty obvious as well.
Victoria also probably should have gotten yelled at.
And Jocasta.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always say, if I were on a jury, I would say. I mean, I've thought of things that I would say. I've thought of things that I could say while casting a vote.
Okay. And let's do
I'm
one.
sorry, I'm really sick. If anyone's having a hard time understanding me.
You're cool.
Yeah. All right, and let's do one more question. This is from Chocolate Chuck. Why do these juries talk about comp wins when talking to Dr. Will? Do they have no clue who he is, or Dan, or Ian, or Danielle? I think that most of the people there have no clue who he is, right, Ian?
I would agree, yeah.
Yeah.
They obviously had no clue who he is. That's why they didn't show us the introduction.
Right. It's not as good. Let's do one more question. Okay, this is from Kevin Falk, not the running back. What do they need to do to improve on next season? Well, this is a great question because we are talking about, we've done this with Survivor a couple times now, of the Survivor think tank. Ian, we are talking about doing a Big Brother think tank. Let's let the dust settle on the offseason a little bit, and then sort of like look where all of the bodies are, and then what we want to do is have the listeners submit questions or suggestions for Big Brother twist ideas or ways to improve the game, and then we will analyze them. And Ian, if you would want to be a part of that panel, we would love to have you.
Yeah, a way to improve the game, a good twist. Put 16 people in the house, lock the door, throw away the key, let them play.
Okay.
Done.
It's as simple as that.
The game is going to be compelling 9 times out of 10 if you don't touch it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's Ian's suggestion. That'd be a boring think tank idea, though.
That's true. I mean, if you want to have some crazy twist where half the house is nominated or something, then that'd be my guess.
Yeah, I don't think we need to have twists for the game. I
think it's time. I honestly think it's time for a casting twist. I think something on the scheme of the X's or perhaps like a blood versus water thing would be ideal at this point. I think that would be the next route to go.
Would Big Brother blood versus water work?
I mean, I think it would be very much like Big Brother 6. And I would say that Big Brother 6, though it's popular, I think it's popular for all the wrong reasons. And that I do not think that season was particularly compelling. And it's overrated by casuals as a whole.
Yeah, I think what works about the Survivor blood versus water is that people are divided into 2 teams and not living in the house. And whereas on Survivor, like we saw tonight, and I won't get into any spoiler stuff, but you can like separate loved ones from each other, and they get very upset and very emotional. You're not going to have that in the Big Brother house, other than like your loved one getting voted out.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ian Terry, thank you for joining us so many times this season, helping us all the way from back in June, 97 days ago?
Yeah, our first show would have been less than that, but still, really a long run.
All right. Brian Lynch, it has been an honor to be back here with you tonight. We got one extra show that we didn't think we were going to get together, and let me say once again, thank you for all of your service to Rob as a podcast.
I'm pleased to serve you, Rob.
Yes. Brian, did you know that, or Ian, did you know that Brian is going to be retiring from Big Brother corresponding after the season?
I did hear that, yes.
Yes. So, very, very sad. Again,
for your service, Brian.
Yes. And much like Derek Jeter, it's that we're going to build a statue to Brian outside of the Rob as a podcast studio.
Bye-bye, bitches.
Yes. All right. So hopefully, maybe we can convince him to come on back every once in a while, give us his thoughts on the Big Brother seasons. Thanks to you guys also who stuck with us all season long. The podcast only continued to grow this summer. This was a really, really big summer for us here on RHAP as a podcast. I know we got a lot of new audience members along the way. I hope you guys will stick around with us all year long as we talk about Survivor and The Amazing Race. Plus, we will try to continue with our Big Brother exit interviews beyond just what we do tomorrow. So it's going to be very, very fun. And, of course, when any reality TV news breaks, we will be there to talk about it with you. All right, so make sure you subscribe to Rob the Podcast, assuming you want to keep on going, and especially if you don't want to miss those Big Brother exit interviews tomorrow. Rob has a website.com/iTunes, or click the podcast tab to see all the different ways to subscribe. And then tomorrow, again, very busy day. Big Brother interviews with the top 3 players. We'll have our interview with the first person kicked off of Survivor. Our big Survivor Know-It-Alls kickoff show. That's going to be a live show at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on Thursday. And then, of course, I will talk to Kim Sprodlin, and I will talk to her later on Thursday night. I have that show up for you guys on Friday morning. And then The Amazing Race kicks off on Friday night. So much to do, Ian Terry.
Absolutely.
All right, Ian, we hope you feel better.
Thank you, Rob. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Have a great night, everybody. Hope you enjoyed our Big Brother finale coverage, and I hope you keep on coming back for all of the rest of the happening. That's what we're calling this crazy 48 hours here on Rob Has a Podcast. We kicked it off tonight, but we're going to keep going through Friday. So have a great night, everybody. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Bye.